we had a great time, and we did a lot of fun things. There's some things I could have dealt without. What do you guys think about doing another build for next year?
For you?
No, I was actually thinking that since we built one for James, we could do one for my son.
What? I'm not James. I don't do everything that he does.
A truck, a car, or what kind of vehicle would you like?
I'm more of a truck guy. I don't know. Anything C10, I like that. Maybe square body or...
Well, I mean, we did a C. You know, you finished a C10 last year. So
Yeah, we did one. We did one last year. Square body or 67 or 72? What are you thinking?
I like both, but you already did one for SEMA for the...
I did one of each.
No, not sure.
I did one this year and I did one last year.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do?
Probably square body.
Square body? Because I have some stuff that it would be a little bit different to do. Some ideas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, like modern or...
28s.
You want an old Trey 5 style. He wants a donk.
Yeah.
I think more modern would be cool because we did Mike's a little bit more modern than Primo's. Primo still had all the trim on it and everything. I think we ditch all the trim, tuck the bumpers in, or maybe even do something different on the back.
Yeah, I like modern a lot more.
I don't know what's cool. I mean, if you ask me what's cool in desert and doing racing, then I can tell you what's cool.
So let's do something desert and racing inspired a little bit.
How do you do that with a street truck?
I don't think we can. I mean, there's off-road stuff that we can apply.
That'd be kind of cool.
Get an axle from Curry or something. Fabricated housing. Big brakes are kind of a big thing in off-road and street, so that kind of ties together. We could do like a trailing arm setup. So we're gonna do another build for SEMA.
Yeah, are you serious?
Yeah. Is everybody in?
Yeah,
let's do it again.
Let's do it.
Yeah, SEMA 2018.
All right.
It's 17, but that's okay.
The first time I met Jeremy, he was working out of his house, and we were trying to put a windshield in it's a Chevy pickup. What was it?
70 Blazer. It was. We had cut the upper post or the upper pillar off of, and it was just
Right, and then we
windshield.
just had to put the windshield in, and James had gone out there to try to put it in. He couldn't do it, and he calls me out to go do it. So the truck slammed all the way against the ground. It's in his third car garage, so there's no room on either side. There's, I could barely fit between the wall and the truck, and then my feet were duck webbed out like that, and the whole time Jeremy's sitting on the chair, and he's got shorts and flip flops on, and the whole time he was laughing that I was having such a hard time putting the windshield in that I left not liking you at all. So So James said, he's actually a really good guy. You got to get to know him. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I don't like him, And then as I got to know him, his humor is probably slightly different than other people's humor. And in all reality, he's a pretty nice guy. So I don't have a problem with him anymore. No. Sometimes. Sometimes we can go to bat.
So we got the C10 at the shop. It's a big heaping pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's 4-wheel drive. I know what you want to do with it. I've got my own little things that I want to do with it, but you got to give me a budget to work with.
I don't really have a budget. The thing is that
What do you mean you don't have a budget?
how do you put a budget on something that when you don't know? I have no idea how I want it to come out. I want it to come out cool, but I don't want to have to spend $1 million on it either.
I can do it for less than $1 million.
I'm sure you probably could. But
Not much less.
But like, how do you tell an artist to paint a picture? You can't.
use a brush.
He's the one that has, it's all right here.
Yeah.
You know, so how do you put a budget on something that, you know, when I have no idea exactly how I want it to come out? Other than a couple of glass options that I thought about doing to it. But, you know, as far as your creativity, you know, how do we do that? I guess what we'll have to do is you'll just have to get into it and then
We'll just
and
do
then
it like we
decide
did the
from there.
Cadillac. On the big decisions, I come to you and we say yay or nay, and on the small stuff, I just run with it.
Right.
I mean, you trusted me on the
That
Cadillac,
sounds,
right?
that sounds good. Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
let's do
good.
it. This truck is stupid. Under 3 hours to take the rusty bed bolts off, take the bed off, take the whole front end off, take the interior out, the doors completely apart, the cab off, and now we're gonna load everything up and go to sandblast. We decided to build our own frame on this truck just because we've done quite a few trucks in the past that were somebody else's bolt-on kit, and you kind of get stuck in a little mantra of all they can do is bolt stuff on, and that's how they build the truck. So we wanted to build our own chassis, show that we have the skills and the knowledge to be able to build a one-off chassis from the ground up. So we're working on laying out the first sheet of parts for Bradley's frame. This will be, the big parts are the rear portions of the frame. You can see what we did on here is I drew up a 4x8, basically our plate size that's on the machine out in the shop. And we do have quite a bit of wasted space here, but I'll be able to use that later for more parts. I'll just leave this plate on the machine after it's cut. I'll save this onto a USB drive, whatever these things are called. What is that called? USB, right? I mean, it's just a USB storage. So I'll save that on the USB, and then we'll go out in the shop and we'll load it from the USB onto the shop saver, and then we can tell it to start cutting. And we're all set to go. So we'll start cutting some frame rails. We got all the pieces off the plasma table and over here onto our frame table. Hector is gonna clean up all the slag that's left over. The machine does a pretty good job. There's really not a ton of slag, but you get a tiny little bit. So go through and clean up all that stuff, and then we'll start setting our spacing with just some 2x4 or 2x3 or whatever we have laying around that's 2 inches wide. This is one of the rear sections that Hector's already been welding and grinding on for a day or so. Almost done with this one. This one is a lot closer to being ready to start assembling, actually building a frame out of. But this one's all welded, all sanded. We're just gonna hit it with the DA.
So what I'd like to do is add a twist on the glass with me owning my own glass company and showing people what's capable of being done. I want to change the front windshield to a glue-in. I want to put the back glass in as a glue-in, and I want to put a bed glass in the floorboard of the bed. And I don't think anybody's done anything as far as the bed goes. But what do you think? Do you think that's something that we could do?
Yeah, I mean, we can do it. It's just going to take a little extra work, but nothing we can't handle. I mean, we'll just make you a new pinch molding and set it whatever depth you want for the front, so you have something to glue to, and we'll just have to build it. You'll have to get me a couple windshields because we're gonna pit up some windshields and probably break one or two. But
not a problem. Let's do it.
Yeah, we just get those.
If you're good with it, I'm good with it.
Sheet metal around those, and then the back glass, you want to just make your own glass, and we'll just make it of different size. Follow the contours a little better. And
right.
Okay,
let's do it.
This windshield usually takes about 50 hours. We broke a couple windshields in the process, but we're on the third one and we haven't broken it yet. The real tricky part is the corners, because you have to either shrink or stretch it to get the right form. It'll definitely be a different look in the end. So the final product, I'm excited to see it all in one color and see how that windshield goes on. But it definitely will be glued in windshield instead of it having the moldings around it.
So the reason why we have this cardboard here is that we're going to use the cardboard for a pattern so that we know where we need to be at on just a template piece of glass, so we can massage the glass. And the glass is inexpensive when it's just an anneal product. So what we can do is we can make the glass pattern. If we have to add to it, obviously we're going to have another piece of glass. But if we need to shave it down, we can bring it down. So we're going to take this piece of cardboard, we're going to hold it up, and then we're going to have Bradley go in there with a marker. And then where's Brad at? Oh, he's ready. So I cut this pattern. First I made a paper pattern, as you can see on the table, and I cut it, seamed it, got it completely ready, and I'm just not real happy with the top corners up at the top on the top radiuses. You want it to be really rough because it's going to knock off what you want to get knocked off without heating the glass up. So in other words, if you had a piece of 120 on here, or if you had 240, all you're going to do is not take any glass off, but all you're going to do is heat the glass up, and then it's just going to break. So you got to knock it off, all the stuff off here that you want to get off of it with 80, and then finesse it just like you were painting a truck. Same thing.
You get text messages and distracted me. So we're heading over to All American Billet right now. I took off out of the shop a little early today to go over and check out the Billet lower trailing arms that they're making for us.
My name is Shane Williams. I'm the Chief Operating Officer with All American Billet here in Phoenix, Arizona. Here at All American Billet, we also do custom parts. Jeremy came to us about making these rear trailing arms. They are going to be a one-off deal for the SEMA build. As far as the front control arms, we're actually going to put those into production as an add-on for suspension guys that want to do billet parts.
Don't look at me, I didn't do anything. Off to the next stop.
What's up, everybody? This is Chris with American Racing. We're here at our custom shop in Southern California. We're about to build the wheels for Jeremy at Tray 5's SEMA build, so follow along as we go through the process. You've seen the process of us building this wheel for Jeremy at Tray 5. This is it. It's a VF 481, one of our forged wheels. We did a brush center with a ceramic clear coat on it to kind of give it a nice clean look. Put it into our forged barrel, and yeah, now it's up to Jeremy to finish the truck and get it to SEMA and see how it looks.
All right, guys, we're creeping up on, it's end of June, coming up on the end of June here. we've got some stuff to get done today. We're expecting the wheels at some point today. We're going to run those out and get them mounted. Our buddy Trevino's going to mount those for us. We're also going to head over to Lee Banning's shop and not only check out their shop, but that's where our engine is for the build. Yo, what's up?
The wheels are here.
I'm trying to do a thing here. Wait, what'd you say?
The wheels are here.
The wheels are here. So wheels showed up just in time for us to head out.
Yeah, my name's Lee Banning. I own Banning Motorsports, and we build and race off-road race cars and trucks. We built this motor for a Class 1 off-road car. You think you're ready for 700 horsepower? This is a motor that your dad and you and I talked about that we had built for our one car. And it's big and burly and it's ready to go.
Yeah, I sure as hell hope so. I've never been anything like this or driven anything with a motor like this, but I hope so.
Well, it just may cost you a lot of money buying tires.
Right.
Or melting tires.
Yeah, I'm not sure my dad thinks it's a good idea, but it should be fun.
We get her loaded up. You guys go stick her in the
All right,
truck.
let's get it loaded up.
Hey, you want to come sit with me?
No.
I gotta adjust a couple things before I can do that.
In my eyes, the project is coming along okay. It'd be going a lot faster if Jeremy was helping, but he did all the seam seal before we sanded it. So
Right, yeah,
thank God he did that
your
before we
job.
sanded it.
Your job.
You know. All right, I gotta get back to work. While you sit there and watch.
Frank's Tahoe has been kind of an ongoing project for him for a while. We built a brand new chassis for it about 2 years ago. And it was supposed to go to SEMA 2 years ago, but he kept looking for excuses and I don't think he was ready to finish it yet. But when the time came this year, I kind of nudged him a little bit. He said, all right, well, I don't have a space and you know, it's not gonna go because I don't have a space, I'm not motivated, blah, blah, blah. I did this monotone Frank bullshit. And I'm just saying bullshit, but. So basically, I wanted Frank to get that truck to SEMA because I know it's something that he's wanted to do for a while. I reached out to Eric over at Powerbase, asked him if there was any way he could help us out with a spot, and he said absolutely. I can get you an outside feature spot for the vehicle. You just have to, you know, make sure that it gets there. And I said, all right, well, I'll go light a fire under Frank's ass and we'll make sure that he gets this thing done.
When I first started working on the truck, I absolutely didn't think it was going to be what it is. I was just looking for a weekend cruiser, something that I could get in with the family and go out and just have some fun with and eventually flip it and move on to something else. Am I glad I didn't flip it? To an extent. I mean, I think I could have spent my money elsewhere, a lot wiser, but it was definitely a learning experience for me and kind of a bucket list for me to take something and go all the way through with it.
It's hard to, I know from personal experience, it's hard to work on your own personal vehicle when other people are expecting you to work on theirs. And so Frank kind of did double time to make it happen, and I think he's pretty happy with the outcome, and I was happy to be a part of it. Frank and I have a pretty good relationship because we're, you know, one door away from each other. So it works out real well where you can bounce stuff back and forth. A lot easier than most shops could unless they have in-house paint. But we're able to pull a body off a truck and throw it on a rack or a rolling cart and just bring it right on down here, and they can start working on it same day usually. We don't have to line up tow trucks or drive across town or anything.
There's a lot of body work that needs to be done on the truck.
I thought I brought you a pretty clean truck.
No. When I first saw that truck, I expected a bale of hay to be in the bed of it.
Refresh your memory.
All right.
So here's what the truck looked like when it first got here. I mean, we can talk about the grill, we can talk about that bumper, we can talk about the roof rack or the bed cage,
It's all original GM parts. There was no rust.
Hey, it's pretty bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, the roof looked like little Bradley was jumping on it when he was a kid.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
I'd have to agree with you. It was smashed. The roof was smashed in.
The door was caved in.
But we got you a whole front brand new clip that wasn't as bad.
It needed a lot of body work. Not just the metal work that was done, but the condition of some of the panels once it gets stripped down the metal. Gapping, getting things straight. It's a lot of work. You're talking hundreds of hours.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not karate kidding you.
So we're about 7 weeks out from SEMA. Just got the truck back from Frank and Eric and Sosa and those guys down there at Ikandy. We're gonna start ripping it apart. We're actually gonna leave the doors on because they're not quite done with the door gaps. They're gonna make noise, so it's gonna be hard to hear me, and you won't be able to hear what I'm saying because they're making noise, but that's good. It means they're working, right? September 13th, we got the truck back from Frank and Eric, those guys yesterday. Tore the chassis all the way down, did a bunch of finish welding, knocked some tacks down and DA'd everything, tried to smooth the frame out as much as possible. And now we've got it loaded in the back of the truck, hanging, 6 feet out of the bed with the tailgate down. But we have orange tape on it, so it should be safe. We're heading over to powder coat. ARC powder coating over in Glendale is going to take care of it for us. Stop filming me! Nobody's supposed to see this. Broken? What's broken? So we're putting on the All-American Billet setup. It's already kind of put together because we've mocked it up. So this is a 2-person special when you're trying to save some time. Gasquete. Does it feel good? Oh, yeah. Is it in? Can you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Screw it.
Yep.
Harder, faster, stronger. I can barely feel it. Is it in yet?
No, I'm still trying. Hold on.
I can't feel anything. Today is September 26th. I'm not pleased with the progress so far. I wish we were done already, but just part of the game. Everybody knows when SEMA is every year, and for some reason it always comes down to the end. But we've got 4.5 weeks or so left, but I'd always like to be a little bit further ahead. Fuck, everything's purple. We got the engine all ready to fire up, and I called Brad to come over and check it out so we could see the first fire up. Didn't end up being that exciting.
No. And, you know, and I walked away from that thinking, you know, like, what the hell, you know, everything's correct, everything's put in, and, you know, I'm thinking, man, I spent a lot of money on this motor for it not to fire. You know, what's, you know, I think I remember asking you telling me, is like, so what's plan B? And I told you there is no plan B.
Today is Tuesday.
Okay.
So we are 4 days late on paint now.
No,
We're supposed to be done Friday. You said it would be painted Friday.
we're 10 days late on fabrication. All right, it's just after 7 p.m. We're just about finished masking up the pickup here for Jeremy for tray 5. About 20 more minutes or so, we should be ready to fire up the booth, get her cleaned up, and get some color on her, because we're going to stay here all night until it happens. All right, so it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. We finally got the base coat down on the C10 here. Basically laid down some sealer, laid down 3 coats of base coat, let it flash, denibbed the whole thing to make sure we didn't have any dirt come through from the sealer. Applied 3 more coats of base coat, and now we're going to go in with the lights off with our 3M sun gun and check and make sure we don't have any sand scratches. Not really checking for atomization. We're going to be doing drop coats once we know we have full coverage. I'm going to kill the lights, and then we're going to go in here and take a look. With the lights off and this light on it, you can see everything. So if you look right here, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but you can see some real light scratches. So it's going to need 1 more coat right there. We all are human and we all make mistakes. So anything you can do to help prevent those mistakes usually ends up with a better result.
We're over here at Steve's getting the interior done on the truck, and while he's doing the interior, we're taking care of the windshield and the back glass and getting everything fit, and then we're going to hopefully get everything glued in on the windshield today and then the back glass later. What we're doing now is we're scuffing down the paint so that way we get a good adhesion with the primer that is designed to hold the glue. You guys will be fine. No big deal. If you set it just as even as you can get it, you guys will be good. Told you, it'll be fine.
That turned out perfect. Good job, Dave.
Today is Friday, October 20th. We are at Steve's Definitive Audio. Does all of our interior stuff for us. Can you hear me with him sawing over there? There he is back there.
My name's Steve Yu. I have a company out in Phoenix, Arizona, Elevated Design. We build custom interiors. Doing a truck here for Tray 5 Customs, SEMA build. Last couple of days, crunch time as he says, and just trying to get a few things done.
Got the TMI seats in, the TMI dash pad in, TMI headliner in, sun visors, Dakota digital gauges that they made custom for us. They did some extra screen printing with the Tray 5 logo on it and the Select Glass logo. Nothing's on time, but we're getting there. We'll make it. We're gonna take a day off from the shop today. Truck's over at Steve at Elevated Design working on the interior, so we really don't have much to do with it. So Brad invited us to head out towards his house. He's got some guns. We're gonna bring some along and we're gonna have fun shooting stuff and maybe even hit a couple golf balls.
Talk about it. Hit everything I was shooting at, Blair.
This is a Moisen Nagant. Shoots a decent sized bullet. You better get a hold of it. Hey, this is gonna hurt.
More than this?
More than that.
Lower, Bradley! Okay, I'm done.
Oh, god damn, you killed that motherfucker.
Get it, Frank!
Alright, I'm good. I'm good.
So today's Monday, October 23rd. Just put the truck on the tow truck to head over to transmission shop because we're having some transmission problems. I don't really feel like pushing the truck into the show. Worst case scenario, we'll have to, but I think the plan today is to rip the transmission out of the truck with less than a week before SEMA and see what's going on inside the transmission, hopefully get it rebuilt and put back in by the end of the day tomorrow, and then just finish up all the other little stuff that's done. The bed's still not on it. We have panels that we made that go in the bed. Basically, we've got probably 2-3 days of work left on the truck, just finishing it up before we get it cleaned up. So this is kind of getting the stress levels up a little bit. So hopefully you don't have to pull the headers because that would be a pain in the ass. We got to take the exhaust off in order to get the drive shaft off. Then we pull the cross member. Obviously the wires and the cooler lines and all that fun stuff. Then we'll try to tip it down, get what we can from the inside. Get what we can from the outside, and then the transmission's probably gonna have to be twisted to get around the headers. And then it'll hopefully come out. We got here what? We got here after 10, it's just after 1, and it's already out and all torn apart. So, a couple hours. I don't think it's a matter of how long it took to get out or how long it took to get back in. I think it's a matter of if it works when it goes back in. Get the bed lined up, get it turned a little bit, get all the bolts in it, get it tightened down, and then we'll take it back down to my shop. Truck's all loaded up. Next stop, SEMA.
All right, next up, SEMA 2017. Let's do this. All right, we're here. Finally, after 5 years of building this truck, SEMA 2017 abducted's made it here in the KMC booth. Super excited, super thankful to everybody who's involved with it. And now we get to go enjoy the show.
Let's talk about SEMA for a minute.
Was I there?
Yeah, you were there.
I don't
Yeah.
remember being at SEMA. I don't remember the first day or so. The first time where we're in the parking lot, and I'm like, yeah, we should just trailer this over there because we have no miles on it. Like all the other SEMA builds that we've done in the years previous, you know, we've had a chance to do a little shakedown on, and this thing we literally have 1 mile.
Yeah, but we were only 3 miles from. We
had
were
1
only 3
mile.
miles from SEMA.
That's 3 times more driving than the truck has seen.
Hey, this is Ryan. We're here at the Villiers booth, getting ready to unveil the truck, SEMA 2017.
Hey, I just want to thank Jeremy and Frank for all the hard work that they put in the last 6 months. It's kind of incredible that you can build a truck like this in 6 months. I built this for my son since he was 10 years old. I've been building some pretty cool trucks. This is bar none the best one I've ever built, but every time I built a truck, I would end up selling it and it would disappoint him. This one's his now. He can do what he wants to do with it, and I appreciate all you guys being here.
Shaw out of St. Louis, Missouri, and this truck's one bad bitch.
I'm Shane Williams with All-American Billet, here at the Villiers booth with the Tray 5 Customs Chevy Square Body. Jeremy did an awesome job on this truck. It sports quite a few of our products, and we were proud to be a part of it.
Hey, I'm Tristan Pingelli with Renderings by Tristan. This is one of the most badass vehicles at SEMA.
Hey guys, I'm Ronnie with C10 Talk. Just witnessed the Villiers Tray 5 build. Nice work, Jeremy. Good job, man. Love it.
Hi, I'm Morgan with Villiers. We appreciate having Tray 5 Customs and Ikandy Paintworks in our booth this year. We love the truck. It looks great. You did a great job on the paint, and we're happy to be here.
Okay, Jeremy from Tray 5 and Frank from Ikandy both knocked it out of the park. Couldn't be more excited.
Reveal went well. I don't know how many people we had here, but I don't think it could have fit any more in the aisles, so that was pretty neat. Everybody seems to like it so far, and a lot of people peeking in and finding all the little details and stuff that we did to kind of set this truck apart from all the others. What else do you want to know? think my favorite part is the fact that we had a lot of issues with the truck, and like I beat myself up over the whole like it's got to go, it's got to drive, we're not pushing this thing in, and you know we pulled the transmission out with less than a week before we had to load the thing up, you know, and Alger I think really took care of us on that, but before that was the engine was giving us shit, and I think my favorite part is just knowing that I can cruise through that, you know what I mean, and deal with that bullshit and just keep going and not be happy until it's, you know, driving and ready to go in. Brad's crying. I'm getting hammered right now.
That is a direct shot in your face. He's like, man, that's cute. You're crying on command for an old man.
I know. Yeah. All on dirt right now.
I would say my favorite part was probably just seeing the unveiling, you know, seeing something come back together, you know, from where it started at and watching it finally get finished up, and now going to all the shows and enjoying it with everybody and stuff. It's got to be my favorite part now.
My favorite part of Bradley's truck is pretty much the same as it is with every customer's car that I've ever done. It's getting to know the person who you're doing it for, and having a long-term friendship with them, and doing whatever it takes to make them happy. And
Bradley's over there like this friendship's over as soon as this barbecue's done. So what was your favorite part?
The end.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. The bleeding stopped.
Cheers. All right, y'all, we're back from SEMA 2017. I think we had a pretty successful show, wouldn't you say?
Very successful show.
Both vehicles made it there safely, and a little stressful at times, but both did really well, I'd say.
Yeah, good reviews from everybody. They looked amazing. Everybody was happy.
On to 2018. I know, that was your line. You were supposed to say, see you in 2018. Yeah. See you next year.
Oh, I was supposed to say that after you said it?
Yeah, like I say that, and then you say, see you next year, y'all.
Cut. I'm Jeremy from Tray 5 Customs.
And I'm Frank with Ikandy Paintworks. Hey, I'm Jeremy with Tray 5 Customs.
Got.
Hey, I'm Jeremy with Tray 5 Customs.
I'm Frank from Ikandy Paintworks.
And we're going to SEMA. Hey, I'm Jeremy with Tray 5 Customs.
I'm Frank with Ikandy Paintworks.
And this is Auto Revolution's Road to
Roadside.
SEMA 2017. You idiot. SEMA 2017 was a huge success for us, I'd say.
Yep.
SEMA 2017 was a huge success for both of us, wouldn't you say?
I would agree so.
SEMA 2017.
SEMA 2017 was a hit.
SEMA 2017's over.
Thank God.
But huge success, right?
Very big success.
We're back from
Tootie is Jeremy's favorite character around here.
We're preparing to go to SEMA here, but we're just letting off a little bit of stress out here in the desert and stuff, so Gonna go O-Dog style from Menace to Society and kill everything out here. Fresh out of bullets now, motherfucker.
I didn't say to destroy my motherfucking sign, you ass.
Because you're a terrible video person. Yeah, but this is where it's connected.
Yeah. Okay, he's taking up my time. He's got to go.
Yeah, he said shut up. He's on the phone with me.
Come on, man. I don't have all day.
He just crop dusted me just now. Yeah.
I can taste it.
Do it again.
So the reveal went great today. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Glad to be a part of it. But enough about this. Let's go see my Tahoe.
And then like on video, it looks like your wrist is all the way back here because that's where that bone is. So when you move it around, like I remember seeing that. Like look at how long your wrist looks if you go back to here.
I don't know what you took, but I wouldn't mind some.
Get you some of that.